7_0. Hello. Today we travel to Japan, to the western part of Tokyo, to a district called Fusashi. This area is located quite far from the heart of the capital, approximately a 2.5-hour journey. For most Japanese people, Fusashi is closely associated with the nearby American military base, making it a place where foreign military personnel are often seen. The local population here is relatively small, especially considering the size of the area. Additionally, much like Itaewon or Tongducheon in Korea, Fusashi boasts numerous exotic shops and entertainment venues specifically catered to foreign military personnel. On Thursday, November 12, 2015, at 5 o'clock in the morning, as the city was enveloped in a sleepy silence, a woman slowly approached one of the entrances to a residential complex in Fusashi. She was 28 years old, and her name was Hana Chichida. Hana worked as a waitress at a bar located in the city center. Due to her job, she often stayed out late, usually starting her shift at 7 in the evening and returning home around 4 in the morning. That morning, after arriving home close to 5, Hana had a brief conversation with her father, 38-year-old Yoshi Chichida, with whom she lived. Yoshi also worked night shifts, managing a small restaurant, and as a result, he often came home late. It was during these early hours that they had a chance to talk, exchanging everyday questions like, "Did you eat?" or "How was your day?" After their brief exchange, each went to their own room to rest. It was an ordinary morning, no different from any other, but within 12 hours, the lives of this family would take a sudden and drastic turn. At 5 o'clock in the evening that same day, Hana woke up. "Damn, it's already 5. I need to be at work by 7. Time to get up," she thought. As she rose from her bed, she suddenly noticed her father's bag lying on the floor, visible through the slightly ajar door of his room. When Hana saw her father's bag in the living room, a wave of unease washed over her. Her father never forgot his bag. He always carried it with him to work. Why would he leave it here? She wondered, puzzled. Still, it was time to get ready for work. Opening the door to her room and stepping into the living room, Hana froze in terror. A horrifying sight lay before her. The body of a man wrapped in a blanket was sprawled on the floor. A blue plastic bag covered his head, and blood was seeping from beneath it, flowing in thick crimson pools across the living room floor. Shocked, Hana screamed and fell to her knees, unable to tear her eyes away from the horrifying scene. "Yoshi!" she cried out, hoping against hope that it wasn't him, though deep down she already knew the truth. The police arrived on the scene shortly after. The officers carefully removed the plastic bag from the victim's head to identify him. When the man's face was revealed, even the seasoned officers flinched and instinctively shut their eyes. They quickly urged Hana to stay back, fully aware that what lay before them could leave her with a wound far deeper than any physical one, a scar etched into her soul forever. The face of the deceased, her father Yoshi Chichida, had been completely flayed, as if someone with unimaginable cruelty had torn the skin from his face. The skin was entirely gone, except for his right eye, which somehow remained intact. It was a scene of pure horror, beyond the grasp of imagination. The police were left to wonder, who could commit such an atrocity? The initial theory was a break-in. An intruder had entered the home. However, anomalies were immediately apparent at the scene. Although Yoshi's face had been brutally mutilated, the rest of his body bore no injuries whatsoever. Typically, a struggle leaves behind some evidence, scratches, bruises, or defensive wounds. But here, there was nothing. Adding to the mystery, the removed skin was nowhere to be found. If the crime had taken place inside the house, then where could it have gone? The forensic examination only deepened the mystery. The cause of Yoshi's death could not be determined. Furthermore, the experts noted that the injuries to his face might not have been inflicted with a knife, casting doubt on the very nature of the incident. Everything pointed to an inexplicable enigma. Desperate for answers, the police explored every theory, from murder to an accident or even suicide. Their focus inevitably turned to Hana, the only witness and the first person to discover the body. However, her testimony provided little insight. She had been sound asleep since the morning and, upon waking in the late afternoon, found her father's body. She claimed she had heard nothing suspicious. There were no apparent clues, no motives, and no answers. But then, during the investigation, the police stumbled upon a startling secret about this family. It turned out that there was an unusual age difference between Hana and her father, only 10 years. Hana was 28, and Yoshi was 38. It became clear they could not be biological father and daughter. The police began a meticulous examination of the identities and pasts of Hana Chichida and Yoshi Chichida. Hana, 28 years old, and Yoshi, 38. During their inquiry, they uncovered that in 2004, Yoshi had undergone gender reassignment surgery, becoming legally and physically male. That same year, he finalized the legal proceedings to change his gender status officially. But what about Hana? Earlier, I referred to her as a daughter. But in reality, Hana, despite her appearance as a woman, was also transgender. She had been undergoing hormone therapy but had not yet undergone surgical intervention or legally changed her gender. This revelation meant that these two were not a father and daughter with a 10-year age difference, as it initially seemed, but rather two men, each on their unique journey as transgender individuals. This raises the question, what was their true relationship? It turned out that Hana and Yoshi were not father and daughter, but a same-sex couple. In Japan, where same-sex marriages remain unrecognized by law, many couples resort to legal adoption as a means to formalize their bond and create a family. Hana and Yoshi had taken this path, becoming one such pair navigating love in the face of societal constraints. Their story began in 2014. After a divorce, Yoshi left his hometown of Fukushima and moved to Tokyo, where he started working at a restaurant. He dreamed of one day opening his own establishment and worked tirelessly toward that goal. In March of that same year, at an LGBTQ+ community event, Yoshi met Hana. This encounter proved to be life-changing. Shared interests, similar life experiences as transgender individuals, and a profound emotional connection quickly brought them closer together. For 2 months, they communicated almost daily, calls, letters, and messages. Their mutual affection and understanding only deepened. In May 2014, they met in person for the first time, and this meeting only strengthened their feelings. They began dating, and soon after decided to move in together in the apartment where the tragedy would later occur. In June, just 1 month after moving in, they completed the legal adoption process. For them, this was a symbolic promise to always stand by each other, a testament to their unbreakable bond. On Yoshi's social media page from that time, it was clear just how happy he was. He wrote, "This day has become the most unforgettable of my life. Now Hana and I will walk through life together. Please support us." Asterisk thus began their life together, filled with joy. They adopted a Chihuahua, a stray dog, and a cat, caring for them as if they were their own children. Their happiness seemed perfect, almost like a fairy tale. But sadly, it was not to last. The problems began when the constant closeness and the monotony of daily life started to cause conflicts. In the months leading up to the tragedy, several reports of violence had been filed with the police. 3 months earlier, on August 13th, Hana called the police stating, "My father tried to strangle me." The conflict arose from Yoshi's suspicion that Hana was cheating on him with a man she had met at a transgender bar. When Yoshi confronted her and demanded an explanation, Hana denied the accusation, calling it absurd. However, Yoshi, already consumed with rage, refused to listen to her and ultimately attacked her in a fit of uncontrolled anger. That day, the police detained Yoshi for the assault, but soon after, Hana regretted her actions. She began visiting him regularly at the station, and later even withdrew her complaint. However, the police, aware of the risk of recurring violence, continued to monitor the situation closely. During the 7th interview with the police on October 27th, Hana stated, "Yoshi is treating me well now. There's no need to intervene anymore." Asterisk. This reassured the authorities, and it seemed that harmony had been restored in their relationship. However, on November 3rd, the situation took another turn. This time, it was Yoshi who contacted the police, claiming he had been attacked by Hana. At first glance, the scenario seemed unusual. Yoshi was biologically female, while Hana had not yet completed her gender transition. Nevertheless, the police documented the report and took it seriously. It was eventually revealed that although Yoshi was a transgender man who had undergone full gender reassignment, he was still physically weaker than Hana. This was due to the fact that Hana, despite her feminine appearance, was biologically male and significantly taller. There was an approximate height difference of 30 centimeters between them. As a result, Yoshi was unable to effectively defend himself against her aggression. Feeling powerless, he turned to the police and filed a report of abuse. However, as in previous instances, the complaint was soon withdrawn and the investigation was closed. It became increasingly clear to everyone. Their relationship was becoming more toxic and destructive, marked by mutual violence, accusations, and constant arguments. On the eve of the tragedy, November 10th, another physical altercation occurred between them. That evening, Hana went to work and confided in a colleague about her struggles. "Yoshi keeps hitting me. I just don't want to go back home." The colleague later confirmed that she overheard Hana arguing with Yoshi over the phone shortly before her shift ended. On the other hand, that same evening, as Yoshi finished his shift at the restaurant, he shared his troubles with a coworker. He confessed that his relationship with Hana had significantly deteriorated and admitted he was at a loss for what to do next. The coworker walked him home, but nothing unusual was observed during their interaction. By this point, the strain in their relationship was undeniable. Based on these facts, the police identified Hana as the primary suspect in the case. However, Hana vehemently denied any involvement. "Yes, we argued, but all couples do. Sometimes I even left the house, but we were too deeply connected to truly break things off," she stated. Meanwhile, the story gained widespread attention in the Japanese media. Headlines were filled with sensational phrases that only fueled public interest in the case. A conflicted couple, complex transgender identities, scenes of violence, and of course, a tragic death. These elements combined into a perfect storm for journalists, turning the situation into a gripping drama that further intensified the tension surrounding the case. The public was stunned by the story of a transgender couple who had long been believed to be a father and daughter, and especially by the gruesome detail of the victim's mutilated face. The media extensively covered the case, speculating wildly and offering various theories. Experts suggested that the motive could have been Hana's pathological obsession with the late Yoshi. They proposed that Hana might have wanted to possess Yoshi even after his death by disfiguring his face to strip him of his individuality. More disturbingly, some theories posited that Hana might have even consumed parts of Yoshi's face, symbolically reinforcing her desire for complete domination and control. Other experts suggested that Yoshi's face may have been mutilated in a fit of rage, as an act of erasing his identity and expressing accumulated hatred. Another hypothesis was that the attack on his face might have been an attempt to destroy potential evidence left on his skin. Rumors and theories proliferated, feeding the public's horror and morbid curiosity. However, on December 12, 2015, the police made a shocking announcement. According to official findings, Yoshi's cause of death was an overdose of sleeping pills, indicating a deliberate decision to end his life. This revelation only raised more questions. Could Yoshi have inflicted such horrific injuries on himself before his death? The police investigation revealed that Yoshi's body underwent several additional examinations, as the initial cause of death remained unclear. A lethal dose of etizolem, an active ingredient found in sleeping pills, was discovered in his system. Further findings indicated that since March 2015, when Yoshi and Hana's relationship began to deteriorate, Yoshi had been regularly taking the drug, which he had prescribed to himself. Moreover, it was established that Yoshi had a history of attempting suicide using sleeping pills. The critical turning point in the investigation was a detail uncovered during their last phone conversation. Shortly before his death, Yoshi had hinted to Hana, "If this continues, I'll just die." Asterisk. Based on these findings, the police concluded that Yoshi's death was the result of his own actions. But the central question remained: what exactly happened that night? According to the investigation, after returning home, Yoshi and Hana had a brief conversation. Afterward, Yoshi retreated to his room and made his final decision. The police theorized that, following their short exchange, Yoshi gathered all the sleeping pills he had and consumed them in a lethal dose. Before losing consciousness, he wrapped himself in a blanket and placed a plastic bag over his head, completing his plan. However, this explanation raised significant doubts among the public. How could someone in such a state of despair meticulously execute such an elaborate act? The unanswered questions fueled further speculation and deepened the mystery surrounding Yoshi's tragic death. The central question remained: where had Yoshi's facial skin gone? The police's answer shocked many. Forensic analysis found the DNA of their rescued stray dog on the plastic bag. Furthermore, bite marks consistent with animal teeth were identified on Yoshi's face. The missing skin was attributed to the dog consuming it after its owner's death. The police concluded that, left unsupervised, the pet had damaged Yoshi's face, which explained the horrific condition of the body. However, this explanation sparked widespread debate and outrage. Many questioned the plausibility of this version. How could a dog remove the skin from the face while leaving the plastic bag intact? Why would a pet, well fed and cared for, suddenly resort to eating its owner? And even if it had happened, why had there been no prior signs of aggression from the animal? These unanswered questions cast doubt on the official explanation, leaving the public divided and the case steeped in controversy. Some experts noted that cases of pets consuming their deceased owners have indeed been documented worldwide. This typically occurs when an animal is left without food for an extended period, or is in a state of shock following the sudden death of a close human companion. However, in this specific case, numerous inconsistencies arose, from the intact plastic bag to the fact that the dog allegedly consumed its owner's face mere hours after his death, behavior highly unusual for a well-fed pet. Public opinion was sharply divided. Some believed that the police's conclusions were plausible, while others accused the investigators of rushing to close the case based on unverified assumptions. The dog theory remained controversial, leaving the case mired in doubt and continuing to spark debate and skepticism. The incident involving the mutilated face of Yoshi Chichita left behind a trail of unanswered questions and conflicting emotions. A similar case from Australia 4 years prior, where domestic cats consumed parts of their deceased owner's body, demonstrated that such behavior in animals is indeed possible. Research suggests that pets, particularly dogs and cats, may begin licking their owner's face in panic after their death, as if trying to wake them up. When the body cools and shows no response, the animals can enter a state of stress. For some, this stress triggers an instinctual behavior of consuming remains, a grim but natural response rooted in their survival instincts. The plastic bag found on Yoshi's head raised significant doubts. How could the dog damage the face so severely without removing or tearing the bag? Critics also pointed out that well-fed domestic animals rarely exhibit such behavior so soon after their owner's death. Despite these inconsistencies, the official investigation concluded, leaving the case open to interpretation. The question of what exactly happened that night remains unresolved, cementing this incident as one of the most mysterious and unsettling cases in modern Japanese history.